You got to think about our spinal discs like I'm holding a jelly donut right here. Normally, when we have the curve, the jelly donut is nice and intact. But when I press that force down, when we lose that curve and all that force is acting onto the discs, it's like I'm taking my hand, I'm squeezing on that jelly donut, and the jelly that's inside the donut, that disc material, the nucleus pulposus around the annular fibers will shoot out to the back and shoot out to the sides as I press my hand down on that disc. And that's actually the most common way that a disc herniates.
I'm on the run, I've got no alibi for what I've done. Took what you treasure and I'm never.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Docmaydiet podcast episode number 9. Okay, so this week we're going to go into what I believe the top 5 reasons why you should seek chiropractic care. Now, obviously, as a chiropractor, I'm extremely biased. I know that, I'm not trying to hide it, but I will point out the fact that last week I just did a podcast talking about the top 5 issues with chiropractors. So I kind of bashed my own profession in a way. So I did that not only because I think it's helpful to know what you're looking for when you're seeking chiropractic care, but also to kind of point out the fact that although I'm biased, I'm not blinded by that bias. I know there are some issues, and I'm here to present the cold hard facts to you. I did that as kind of a token of honesty and trust. So you know that I'm not trying to sell you on something I don't actually believe in. Okay. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the top 5 reasons why you should seek chiropractic care. Reason number 1 is the most obvious one: low back pain. I have this listed as the first one because 80 to 90% of the population will suffer from low back pain at some point in their lives. Low back pain is the leading cause of disability worldwide, leading to over 264 million lost work days per year in this country. It's also the 3rd most common reason why people actually go to the doctor. So, all that being said, researchers have tried to figure out a good way to treat low back pain, because right now, as it stands, the treatment option would be drugs, opioids. And with the opioid epidemic really getting worse in this country, the onus is really on these researchers to find out the best way to treat low back pain. And they're actually finding that chiropractic is more effective than drug use. In fact, an article in the highly respected journal called Spine has shown that chiropractic manipulation to be as good or actually better than non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs in the treatment of low back pain. Another review of 9 studies have suggested high quality evidence that low back pain is actually better off being treated short-term and long-term by chiropractors than by any other doctor. Okay. Now, this is especially important when you consider the fact that the CDC says that 1 in 4 people who are prescribed opioid medications will develop an addiction. So chiropractic is contributing absolutely 0 to the opioid addiction, never has, never will. It's a safe and effective treatment. This is right in chiropractic's wheelhouse. Okay. This is the most common thing that I see here in my clinic and the most common thing that I treat successfully. So please, I implore you, if you or anybody you know is having low back pain, try chiropractic first. Go back to the podcast from last week, find a good chiropractor, and go give it a shot. Much better than going to drugs or surgery. Drugs and surgery should be your last option. Okay. Try conservative care first, and I promise you, you won't regret it. Even if it doesn't work, which most likely it will, but even if it doesn't, you didn't lose anything besides some time and some money. But you didn't go ahead and get spinal fusion surgery or get addicted to opioid medication. That's a lot worse. I think we all agree on that. Okay. Reason number 2 why I suggest going to a chiropractor is for neck pain, headaches, and jaw pain. Now, those are 3 different things, but I have them all grouped together because they're highly correlated. Neck pain, headaches, jaw pain, all tied to a lot of dysfunction in the upper cervical spine, because these nerves go up into the head and they become irritated due to a spinal subluxation, irritation, a restriction of the spinal joints, which causes inflammation of the nerves. It inflames those nerves that go to the head. hence the term headache. A lot of dysfunction with the jaw as well, because it has a lot to do with proper head posture, and neck mechanics will affect the function of the jaw. And then obviously neck pain, huge correlation with the neck mechanics as well. Now, jaw pain is something we're seeing a lot more of. In fact, a lot of people come to us for jaw pain and jaw pain alone, but we always assess the neck when it comes to jaw pain. Okay. And the common term for jaw pain is TMJ, when in fact it actually should be TMJD. TMJ stands for temporomandibular joint. So to say that you have TMJ when you have jaw pain is like saying you have ankle when your ankle hurts, or saying you have finger when your finger hurts. It doesn't mean anything. The proper term is TMJD, which is temporomandibular joint dysfunction, not just TMJ. Little side note there for you. So 9 out of 10 Americans will suffer from headaches as well. They could be really debilitating, which will also contribute to medications and the opioid crisis. Now, chiropractic has also been shown to be effective with neck pain as well. Another review showed that both in the short term, so a week or two after treatment, and a long term, a year after treatment, that chiropractic manipulation has been shown to be more effective once again than drugs, opioids, NSAIDs. So again, another thing that's right in our wheelhouse. But if you know somebody who has the neck pain, the jaw pain, headaches, please send them our way. We could check them out. We could find out where in the neck that dysfunction lies, where that subluxation is irritating those nerves, causing the inflammation, causing the jaw dysfunction, causing the headaches. Okay. Once again, probably the second most common thing to low back pain that I see and treat successfully would be that combination of jaw pain, headaches, and neck pain. All right, moving on into reason number 3 why I suggest checking out a chiropractor is something that goes criminally untalked about, which is our spinal curvatures. So we should have a curve in the neck facing that way, opposite curve in the mid back, and then a curve in the low back facing the opposite as way. I'm going to have some visuals up here, hopefully for you guys to see what I'm talking about a little better. But those curves are super important because there's that constant force always acting down on us called gravity, right? Never shuts off, can't turn it down, can't turn it off, can't even turn it down, actually, like I said. So those curves are there for a reason, to help dissipate that gravity, help evenly distribute gravity throughout the body. When we lose that curve, all that force of gravity is pounding down onto our spinal joints. And this is what causes arthritis, neck dysfunction, loss of range of motion, and pain. And if we have a disc injury, which would become more susceptible to when we lose those curves, that can really lead to disability, not be able to work, loss of function of the arm, function of the legs, really a huge problem, and also contributing to the opioid epidemic as well. You got to think about our spinal discs like I'm holding a jelly donut right here. Normally, when we have the curve, the jelly donut is nice and intact. But when I press that force down, when we lose that curve and all that force is acting onto the discs, it's like I'm taking my hand, I'm squeezing on that jelly donut, and the jelly that's inside the donut, that disc material, the nucleus pulposus around the annular fibers, will shoot out to the back and shoot out to the sides as I press my hand down on that disc. And that's actually the most common way that a disc herniates. It herniates in the back and to the sides, because that's the only way it has to shoot out when you press down on it like that. And that's what's going on when we lose those spinal curvatures. Not only the physical things, but our spinal curve, and especially in our neck, has been correlated to a whole host of other diseases and other issues. Okay, because you got to think, guys, our brain stem's right here. Our brain's here, brain stem, and the rest of that spinal cord follows through the neck. If we take that curvature, we lose it, and then we actually go the opposite way. It's like we're taking that spinal cord and we're stretching it out like a rubber band. And our spinal cord is like a wire. If you stretch out a wire, eventually it becomes frayed and doesn't conduct properly, doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And that's when we start to see things like thyroid issues, digestive issues, sleeping issues, anxiety, all these dysfunctions going on highly correlated to losing the curvature in our neck because that wire from our supercomputer, our brain, is being frayed. It's being stretched out. No wonder it's not working properly. So even if you don't think you're having any issues right now, I still suggest it's a good idea to see how that neck curve is looking, because oftentimes we lose that curve because our posture degrades. We start looking down at our phone all the time, which is our next point. The reason number 4 to go see a chiropractor is to improve the posture. Now, posture isn't just aesthetics, even though that matters to people too, because the way you look, obviously, we've been talking about diet and weight loss, affects how you feel and think about yourself too. So that is valid in its own right. But posture is also the window into our spine, into our nervous system. And poor posture usually reflects poor health. Now, because everything in modern society is bringing us forward into this anti-tilted position where the head flexes forward. This is what everybody looks like, right? Looking down at their phone, their head is flexed forward, causing that curve to be reversed. Now, not only that, but we have a lot of postural shifts from unilateral motions, unilateral sports, or, the way your ergonomics desk station is set up will cause different dysfunction. Our posture is important. When we have a postural deficit, it's going to ruin our biomechanics and lead to early arthritis and early injury. So posture is not only important in sending messages to other people about our health and to ourselves, but it's really important in protecting our function. Now, a chiropractor can help with this. Not only will they be able to assess your postural deficits, but they'll have ways and tips on how to improve it at work, can actually work on the muscles themselves and get the bones moving properly so we could have that proper posture. Because if we have misalignments, if we have subluxations, fixated segments of the spine, it's pretty impossible to have posture. Eventually, everything's going to slip and fall back into that improper place. So the chiropractor can analyze your posture, take x-rays, and deliver specific chiropractic adjustments to work on that posture, as well as developing exercises and rehab to strengthen up the right muscles to maintain that proper posture, because it's impossible to improve your posture by just saying, sit up straighter. That's not the answer. We've been saying that for years. It doesn't work. We've gotten much worse as a country with posture. Just go outside and look around. Everybody's like this. Everybody. We're seeing kids these days, age between anywhere from 9 to 15 with a total reverse curve of the neck. What else is more common these days? Well, kids with anxiety and depression and mental disorders. And now I'm not saying the curve in their neck is the only reason, but it can't be helping that. All right. Now, even if we're not having any pain, any symptoms, I still think chiropractic is a great wellness tool. Why is that? Well, reason number 5, chiropractic helps so many other things other than pain. Every day, I'm hearing testimonials of patients reporting back to me that since beginning chiropractic care, their mood's gotten better, their energy, their focus, their sleep, their digestion, their gym performance, whether it's running faster, running longer, working out harder, lifting more weights, you name it, I've pretty much heard of it. Okay. I actually just had a patient last week tell me that their general outlook on life and their mood and their anxiety has gotten much better since getting regularly adjusted. And the reason for that is, as I mentioned earlier, the brain controls the nervous system, and the nervous system is the master system. It controls every single function. If you were to remove every other system in the human body besides the nervous system, you would still see the outline of the human body because it goes everywhere and controls everything. So if that isn't working properly, you're going to have problems. And once you get it working even better, even if you're not having issues, you'll still see an improvement in other aspects of your life. And the biggest ones would have to be sleep and digestion for sure. Now, it's actually pretty cool that I get to talk about this stuff because all this has become pretty commonplace for me and it kind of becomes normal. But now that I'm actually saying it out loud, I'm thinking, wow, this is great. I am reminded of how blessed I am to be able to do this for a living every day. It's really great. So if becoming the best version of yourself is not something you're interested in, then you probably shouldn't check out chiropractic. But if it is, give it a try. If not, for anything else, but to check that neck curve. And then obviously, if you're having pain in the low back, the neck, the jaw, the head, digestive issues, postural issues, chiropractic needs to be your first option. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks so much again for listening. This is episode 9. Don't know what next week's episode is going to be like yet. We'll figure out when we get there, but go ahead, subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, rate, leave a review. Thanks for listening. See you guys next week.
I'm on the run, I've got no alibi for what I've done. Took what you treasure and I'm never gonna